So the Browns are attempting to move forward after the Myles Garrett brawl last Thursday night. Head coach Freddie Kitchens said the organization is supporting Garrett despite what Kitchens called a, quote, bad lapse in judgment. Others defending Garrett have said that video of the fight shows Mason Rudolph kicking Garrett in the groin, and fellow Browns defensive lineman Sheldon Richardson didn't shy away from putting some blame on the Steelers quarterback. Take a listen.
He's protecting himself, though. I don't blame him. Guy keep rushing me even with the helmet off. He's asking for it, so, just leave it at that. If a guy scratching at your face, what you gonna do? If that's your child, what would you do? The helmet was overboard. Let's get that clear. It's overboard, it was. But defending yourself, nah, I'm not. I don't blame him for defending himself at all.
So you feel like Rudolph escalated it?
Of course he did. Of course he did. You can't antagonize a fight and then claim bully after you get what's coming to you.
Super Bowl champ and Fox Sports college football analyst Reggie Bush with us this morning for this discussion. So what do you think about this one, Reggie? Is Mason Rudolph getting a free pass for his role in the fight?
Yeah, I do think he's getting a pass in this role because he was just as much a part of instigating that fight as Myles Garrett was. Now, clearly Myles Garrett took it above and beyond, too far. That was probably one of the worst things I've ever seen in all my years of watching football. But, to say that Mason Rudolph didn't take a small part in that fight, I think would be wrong because I don't know if he was trying to kick him in the groin, but his foot was definitely placed in his groin and maybe even extended. And then also we saw him trying to pull his helmet off in the beginning. And so I understand why and how the fight started. But I also think the other player in this fight is the Pittsburgh Steelers. Right? Why are you trying to throw a screen with 10 seconds left on the clock? Because it's your job and duty to also protect the players as well. Right? Mason Rudolph has just gotten sacked twice leading up to this last play. 2 times in a row. One was 65, I can't pronounce his last name. And then another one was on a blitz.
Owen Goby.
Yeah, Owen Goby. And so he got sacked 2 times in a row.
Not quite.
Good.
It's okay.
Good. Guns.
And then he had 4 interceptions.
Ogunjobi.
There it is. And then he had 4 interceptions. And so he's been having a rough day. And so at that point, I'm just trying to put myself in that position. If I'm the offensive coordinator, I'm going to protect my player. He's already getting beat up all game. They haven't been able to protect him. And then he got sacked 2 times leading up to basically what was going to be the last play. And then that happens. And so I think the Pittsburgh Steelers also have to take as much credibility in this fight even starting by continuing to call pass plays when the game is completely out of reach.
I don't have a problem with Freddie Kitchens or Sheldon Richardson supporting their guy. They should. You should say, look, he made a terrible decision. He made a mistake. He had a lapse in judgment, but he's our guy. We're going to put our arms around him. We're going to support him, whatever the NFL, the punishment they deem necessary. We're going to welcome him back with open arms because that's not the guy that we know that's been in our locker room. But this notion, it's like anything. If someone is pulling at your head, let's just say I have a head full of hair. I got an afro. I got dreads. If someone is pulling at me, I'm going to kick to try to get them up off me. He's grabbing him by his helmet, pulling him. So what am I trying to do? A prime example, if you go back and look at the tape in 1993, we were playing, it was the 94 season. We're playing the Raiders in a playoff game, Skip, and I was cooking them. Winston Moss, the very Winston Moss that came and sat in that chair. I caught a pass, I think it was my 10th or 11th pass in the first half.
You know exactly what
I think 10 or 11. I won't really know, Skip. It's 10 or 11. I was cooking them, though. Skip, he tackles me. Instead of just getting up, guess how he tried to get up? He put his hands on my head and pushed himself up.
I hate that. Oh, my God.
Yeah, when I tried to punt him. I tried to punt him in the next week.
I hate that.
When it comes to force, you must use reasonable force to diffuse the force that was used against you. Someone reaching at your helmet. Okay, if you shove him to the ground, no problem. That's the force to keep you up off me. But once you hit him in his head, now we see all these videos are talking about, and I don't need to explain it, about excessive force. Somebody shoves someone, let's just say it's an officer, and the force is excessive. Well, he didn't have to do that. You need to meet the amount of force that was used against you. That's how it works. Skip, I can't step on someone's shoe. They knock me unconscious and say, well, he stepped on my... Wait, you can't do that. He used excessive force. The amount of force that he used, instigation or not. You know how this works. And people are like, well, he's not what he did. And I get it, Reggie, you're calling the plays. But for some reason, Myles Garrett was hell-bent on taking the man to the ground.
Yeah, he was. Well, let me ask you this question then. Because if they're going to try to run that play, don't you think that he has every opportunity to get that sack?
You subject yourself to a hit on the quarterback when you still throw it in that situation because normally, Skip, in that situation, you put the backup in, you let him hand the ball off, you run out of time, and you get on out the field. So when you put yourself in that situation, but the amount of force that Myles Garrett used to try to defuse this situation was excessive. There's force and there's excessive. He used excessive force. And I don't condone that, but if you want to support the guy, Skip, he made a terrible decision. I'm going to give him that. But when he comes back, that's our guy. Because that's not the Myles Garrett that we know. That's not the Myles Garrett that I've been around for the last 2 to 3 years. But to try to he got what he deserved. Really?
Yeah, no.
Because we lose our stuff when we hear other people say he got what he deserved. He shouldn't have been resisting. So just remember when you say what Myles Garrett did was okay when he used excessive force. Just remember.
Got it. So everybody agrees the helmet was completely over the edge.
Yes.
We all agree with that.
Absolutely.
Reggie Bush makes a good point I have not heard made. I hadn't put it in the context of, wait a second, they call it a screen pass? With 14 seconds left?
10 seconds.
21 to 7. Well, the play started at
14,
14. And it's 21 to 7, so the game is over. Like, there's no hope.
Ain't no 14-point play.
And they backed up, too.
Okay. They're backed up. So, given that, they snapped the football, and nobody blocked Myles Garrett. I don't know why it's a screen pass, so he's unblocked. He is unabated.
By the way, that's 3 plays in a row he getting hit.
Okay. So the ball is gone quickly from Mason Rudolph's hand. And I don't know what possessed Myles Garrett, but he takes him down with a vengeance, man. It's rub-it-in vengeance. And Mason Rudolph clearly, immediately does not love it. He's already kind of fighting back when he takes him down and then rolls over the top of him. I was trying to see if there was a groin kick there, like underneath, like a little rabbit punch, sort of a groin kick, and I can't see one there. But then Mason does a weird thing. He grabs both hands, the helmet, and he's just kind of shaking his helmet. I don't think he's trying to rip it off because I don't know how you could rip it off at that point. But it was weird. And so now Myles doesn't love that. So now it escalates, and once he stands up, then the kick is a cleat in the thigh just trying to push him off. But he reaches down and snatches the face mask. And with the chin strap buckle, he rips the man's helmet off. That's pretty dangerous act right there. Boy, you know, he's one of the strongest guys in the league.
Because, Skip, here's the thing. You control the head, you control the body. Because what's the first thing when guys with linemen are standing, what's the first thing they grab? The helmet. They grab their face mask. You ain't going to... I'm driving a car.
And what's the most called penalty now in the league? It's like hands to the face. They will not let you go hands to the face. Well, this is ripping the guy's helmet off. Okay, so friends of mine, friends of the show, keep texting me saying you guys are missing the point because it's a runaway internet viewpoint, social media viewpoint, that this kid, Mason Rudolph, is getting a huge pass here.
Yes, sir.
That he instigated.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Again, Myles Garrett, quote-unquote, started it. That's just me. The first overreaction was his because he takes him down with a little too much sauce on it. You know, like he's rubbing it in. Okay, so now Mason Rudolph's a competitor, maybe kind of a crazed competitor. So once you rip his helmet off, his manhood is being questioned now because what are you going to do about it, kid?
On full display.
Okay.
The whole world.
And so he's got to protect his manhood and his place in the locker room, he's got to go after his own. He took your helmet off. You better go get your helmet from that man, right?
That's interesting.
Okay, so you have to go after him, even though you are asking for it now. And again, but the whole idea of you antagonize to start with, said Sheldon Richardson, and then you're claiming bullying. Well, when he's claiming bullying is he ripped your helmet off and then he smashes you over the head with it. Okay, well, that qualifies as bullying because who's the bigger man here? Who's the larger man? Well, obviously, Myles Garrett, you should be picking on somebody your own size instead of this skinny quarterback, right? Okay,
Yeah,
so
beating a quarterback up is not going to get you a whole lot of brownie points. You ain't going to get no credit in the locker room.
But did Mason Rudolph get a brownie point or two in his locker room by chasing down his helmet?
He was like, okay, you stood up to the guy.
You got some dog in you. You got a little dog in you.
But
a little dog. Just a little dog.
Little dog. Okay. But it's the little dog scared to do all that yapping. It's the big dog, like, I'm sizing it up. It's the little dog that just run up on any dog. I agree with you.
But from my heart, look, if Mason Rudolph were out of line, I think people know me, I would be all over him.
Yeah.
I don't think he was way out of line. Maybe he pushed back, fought back a little too hard.
No, I don't think he was way out of line.
But I don't think he's getting a pass here. Should he have been suspended a game? I don't think so. But I didn't think the center for the Pittsburgh Steelers should have been gone for 3 games.
I just think the force that Myles Garrett used to try to defuse the situation, to say, get up off me, was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. The force that he should have used. Now, if he shoves him to the ground, Skip, I got no problem with that. Yeah. But when you take the man's helmet off, you snatch it off his head, and then you cream him over the head with it.
That's when it's too much.
And how bad it could have been.
Yes.
It could have been a lot worse. That's the thing that makes it scary.
Okay,
it could have been so much
when
worse.
Miles goes to New York and pleads his case to, I think it's James Thrash in this case, not
tomorrow,
our man Derek Brooks, but James Thrash is going to be in New York. Do you think he has, so to speak, a leg to stand on groin kick? I don't see it. I
think the only thing that could come away from that meeting is possibly Mason Rudolph, or him saying, listen, Mason Rudolph was just as much of a culprit in this instigating this fight as I was. And I think that's the only thing he can come away from in this fight.
Yeah, I don't see, because Skip, they're still talking about it. The next day, they was talking about it on every network. They don't even talk sports. And this was a topic.
That is true. It was everywhere.
Worst look of the NFL.
Yeah. It's the look of the NFL that is so careful and
in the
conscious
100th
about
anniversary.
their image. So conscious about that. But an interesting discussion nonetheless, and we'll probably hear more about that after he, pleads his case about that indefinite suspension tomorrow. So, Reggie, we're going to have you stick around. We want to know a little bit more about Zeke, his lack of production. What do you make of everything?
Yeah, what do you make?
Hot topic around here. That's next.
All right.